I saw this post from James Bard and crazy early American law. In 1808, Connecticut outlawed the below felonies: atheism, polytheism, Unitarianism, denial of Christianity, denial of biblical authority. First offense, can't hold office. Second offense, cast out from civil society. Isn't that crazy? This was America. If any person within this state, having been educated in or having made profession of the Christian religion, shall by writing, printing, teaching, or advised speaking deny the being of a God, or any one of the persons in the Holy Trinity to be God, or shall assert and maintain that there are more gods than one, or deny the Christian religion to be true, or the Holy Scriptures of the Old and New Testament to be of divine authority, and be thereof lawfully convicted before any of the superior courts of this state, shall for the first offense be incapable to have or enjoy any offices or employments, ecclesiastical, civil, or military, or any part in them, or profit by them, and the offices, places, and employments enjoyed by such persons at their conviction shall be void. I think that includes, you literally can't hold office. You can't even be part of the government. If you denied Jesus is God, you denied that there is a God, that you said that there are many gods, that you reject that there is a God, you can literally be barred from being a part of the government. And such person, being a second time convicted of any of the aforesaid crimes, shall be disabled to sue, prosecute, plead, or maintain any action or information in law or equity, or be guardian of any child, or executor of any will, or administrator of any estate. So if you're convicted a second time, you're basically cast out from civil society. If you are an atheist, an outspoken atheist, an outspoken polytheist, a Unitarian, or if you deny Christianity to be true, you deny biblical authority, that scripture is divinely inspired. And then James Bard said, I'm not proposing these measures for today, but I do think we need to factor these sorts of laws into how we view the Bill of Rights and early America more broadly. It's time to compile all these laws. I am going to see these. I am definitely going to check these out. Bareth Press. We'll definitely have to follow these. Wow, dude, there's a lot. There's actually a lot. We're going to have to go through these later and another day, chat. But to that, I responded, okay, with the Trump. You remember when Rosie O'Donnell, Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, and then Trump was like, "Oh, I'm just hearing that for the first time." That's the meme. So you're telling me that America was a Christian nation and the separation of church and state myth was a completely made-up lie by secularist degenerates who hate God, and in fact, we can legislate morality? Yes. Because America was a Christian nation, the First Amendment was that Congress, which Congress? The Congress in the federal government. The federal government Congress shall make no religion, okay? Why? So that there can never be religion in any government whatsoever? No. It's so that the states can have their own religion, essentially. The separation, it's federalism. It's that states can govern as they choose. And then, you had retards like Dev say no. And I said, literally, you have no arguments except I don't like it when facts stare you straight at the face. And then he said, the argument is you're ignorant. And he says this: neither pagan nor Mohammedan nor Jew ought to be excluded from the civil rights of the Virginian Commonwealth because of his religion. So that's Thomas Jefferson. And Jefferson was the most atheistic. He was a deist, but he was the most atheistic when it came to religion. But they completely throw out, right? They completely throw out the inconvenient facts of, for example, John Adams saying that our Constitution was made for a moral and religious people. What morality, what religion? Christianity. And then Reddit atheists like you always just pull up out of context Thomas Jefferson quotes and never any of the other founding fathers. Same disingenuous BS you do with his letter to the Danbury Baptist to lie to everyone about separation of church and state, to say Christianity has no place in government or schools. How do you reconcile that in America, all schools until the 1960s taught the Bible and had prayer? The original states required a profession of faith to hold public office, and 9 out of 13 first states had a state religion. And if you guys want to check out this graphic, you can check it out, right? New Hampshire, Separatist. New York was Dutch Reformed. Pennsylvania was Quaker. Virginia, which was governed by the Church of England. North Carolina, Church of England. South Carolina, Church of England. Georgia, Church of England. Massachusetts, ruled by the Puritans. Rhode Island, Separatist Baptists. Connecticut, the Congregationalists. New Jersey was Quaker, Roman Catholic, and Lutheran. It was the most religious tolerant, but it was still Christian. Delaware was Lutheran. Maryland, of course, was Roman Catholic. So these were the religious foundations of all the 13 colonies. This is not a conspiracy theory. And literally all schools in America from every single level of education had prayer, Bible reading, chapel, all of that in their schools until the 1960s, very recently. And he said, it took the various parts of America quite some time to reconcile itself with the First Amendment, but eventually got there. And Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Yes, Congress was not able to install federal religion for all states. States were permitted to have their own state religion. This was all commonly understood until recently. Nope. Article 6, Clause 2. State religious governments are also required to follow the Constitution. This has been in the text since the very religion. This is, I hate, literally people like stupid libtards like Dev drive me up the wall because what does the Constitution say? It says Congress. Does it say state governments are not allowed to make an established religion? If that was the case, how did nearly all of the first states make a certain denomination of Christianity their state religion, their official state religion? He is such a retard. Like, he just keeps saying no, 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 no. He keeps deflecting, and this is what liberals do. They never answer and never stay on the topic of choice, and they gaslight you. State governments are also required to follow the Constitution. Yes, they are. What does the Constitution say about state religion? That Congress. Which Congress? The federal government Congress, not state congresses. If that were true, how was it that for America, for most of its early history, until the late 1800s to the early 1900s, how did they all have a state religion? How? How did nearly all of these states, even the new states that were instated, and that joined the Union, how did they have a state religion officially recognized by the government? Oh, because it took some while for America to catch up to its founding ideals. Or maybe the founding ideals wasn't liberalism. It's not your stupid libtard revisionism. But it was actually just so that the federal government would allow the state governments to instate their own religion. You can't reconcile the fact that they had all these states have state religions, and also, oh yeah, First Amendment means that the government can't have any religion whatsoever. Like, it's such a retarded take, and it is so stupid flat on its face. It really is. It really is. And you can't point me to anything in the founding ideals. America's an idea. What is that idea then? What is that idea? America was founded on an idea. What idea? And you point them to the ideas, and they're like, no, not that idea. My idea. My idea of early 21st century liberalism. That is what America was built on. No, the founding fathers, the founding stock of America was not alive in the 2000s. They were alive in the 1600s and the 1700s, okay? The people who came here were from that time period, the people who literally founded and started America in the late 1700s. What did they say? If your argument is that America is a propositional nation, okay, fine. What are those ideas? What were those ideas founded on? Your ideas or their ideas? And people say, oh, the founding fathers' ideas. That's such bullcrap because you don't believe that. It's your ideas. Whatever you think it is. And I conveniently share the founding fathers. Like, for example, John Jay, right? John Jay, right here, okay? Look at what he said. A devout Christian believed America was founded on Christian principles, stating it's a Christian nation where Christians should elect Christian rulers for order and liberty, viewing Christianity as essential for societal virtue, while also advocating religious freedom, but with concerns about Catholic loyalty, reflecting his deep faith and Protestant heritage. He famously said, Providence has given to our people the choice of their rulers, and it is the duty as well as the privilege and interest of our Christian nation to select and prefer Christians for their rulers. Do you know, the Supreme Court in the late 1800s affirmed that America is a Christian nation. Oh, but just gonna throw that out. Just throw it out. No, that's inconvenient. Let's just throw that out. You know how many founding fathers agreed with this? The majority of them. Of course, we had a slight plurality of different ideas and what they wanted. The majority of Christians, the majority of founding fathers agreed with this. The majority of Americans agreed with this. This is why we had, again, blasphemy laws. And this is why somewhere like Connecticut, okay? Connecticut literally didn't allow you to blaspheme Christ and deny Christianity. And then the liberals keep saying, no. They're like children, right? They're like children who like close their ears and they're like, no, I don't want to hear it. No, I don't want to hear it. When facts, historical evidence is literally staring at them straight in the face. Like there's one in Michigan too, right? Look at this guy. In Michigan, we still have anti-Christian blasphemy laws. They're just unenforced. Look, punishment. Any person who shall willfully blaspheme the holy name of God by cursing or contumeliously, I don't know what that word is, reproaching God shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. Cursing and swearing. Any person who has arrived at the age of discretion who shall profanely curse or damn or swear by the name of God, Jesus Christ, or the Holy Ghost shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. No such prosecution shall be sustained unless it shall be commenced within 5 days after the commission of such offense. Even somewhere like Michigan has blasphemy laws. You know, I think almost every single state has blasphemy laws. They're just not enforced. You can correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I really think that's the case. You know, Roman Helmet Guy, this guy's great. People are shocked when you tell them the Bill of Rights didn't apply to individual state governments until the 1920s. Yeah, like literally, the Bill of Rights didn't apply to individual state governments until the 1920s. Let's even say that it did for all of American history, like to the T. That what does the Bill of Rights say about freedom of religion? Okay, it doesn't. There's no such. Okay, here's the thing, Chad. This is the ultimate red pill. There's no such thing as freedom of religion in our Constitution. I'm sorry, there isn't. It just says that Congress, Senate, House of Representatives shall make no law, because Congress is the lawmaking body in America. It shall make no law establishing a religion from the federal level, but it does not prohibit state governments or any locality, any local government, any government at all from instating a state religion. If it did, it would have already been in violation of the Constitution at the founding of the country. Duh. And so, if freedom of religion was such an enshrined American right, how did Michigan make it, even somewhere like Michigan, late to the Union, by the way, much later than the first 13 states, how did Michigan make it illegal to blaspheme Christ? How many people today blaspheme Christ? Why did New York make it illegal to blaspheme Christ? New Jersey, all these states, Connecticut. Why was it illegal to not only blaspheme Christ, but also deny Christianity? There was no such conception of mass freedom of religion that people can come into America and worship however they want, whatever deity they want, and live however as they pleased. That was never an American ideal. That was never in the founding of the country. Do you think the founding fathers would be so happy at the building of mosques in America and Hindu temples? Do you think they'd be ecstatic to see the Satanic Temple is really prominent and influential in this country? You think so? Freedom of religion in America was only insofar as we tolerate different Christian denominations for each of the states to decide for themselves. We got to get rid of this lie. We have to get rid of these lies. America was not founded on secularism. America was not founded on religious pluralism and religious tolerance. America was founded on Christianity and ordered liberties that come from a Christian people who observe Christ. And I forgot who said this. It was a black professor. I forgot his name. He's really great. That in America, we always had two systems of government. We had our constitutional republic, but most importantly, and more importantly, we had the monarchy of Christ. And without submission to the monarchy of Christ, of a people who are moral and religious, who are rightly ordered and virtuous, we cannot have self-governance in a constitutional republic. We can't because people don't even know today what gender they are, okay? They don't even know what gender they are. We see in the news all the time. People, liberals, excuse violent crime because they're of a certain racial minority group. You think those people can self-govern? You really think so? Plane? What's up, Plane? What's up, Jet Plane? How you doing? Thanks for the follow. You really think that those who celebrated the assassination of Charlie Kirk, who cheer when right-wingers are attacked, like Tim Pool, like Tim Pool's not a right-winger, but you know, Tim Pool's on the right. Jet Plane, a follow on X. Thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate you. How are you? But you really think that those who celebrate violence against right-wingers are capable of proper self-governance? No, secularism is a lie. It has completely rotted out the country. It has hollowed out the country completely. Liberalism is a lie. We need to get back to our Christian roots in America. We got to get back to the true American founding. It's founded on Christianity, No matter what you think, this is an objective fact. So if your litmus test for what you believe politically is like, I just want to go back to the founding ideals of this country. Well, sorry, Buttercup. Then you're going to have to accept that Christianity was fundamental to the founding of this country. And I plan on doing a longer form video about this on YouTube because it drives me up the wall how historically illiterate, but not only historically illiterate, but how disingenuous people are when it comes to this topic. Like, you just have to accept it. It's a historical fact. America was built as a Christian nation. You don't get to just take your modern sensibilities and shove it into the writings and the readings and the thoughts of the founding fathers and the founding stock of America and say, no, this is what I actually believe. No, this is what they believed. That you should, if you deny Christianity, it is okay and permissible by the Constitution to bar you from society, essentially. And in many cases, jail you. Now, am I advocating for that? In society, it is not palatable for society, but we have to be realistic. And so if America is built on an idea, what idea is that? Idea of self-governance. Okay, self-governance for who? For the American people. Who are who? Christian. Who observed Christianity, who went to church, who are Bible-believing Christians, who love the Lord. Christianity was literally the fabric of America. It was. Because localities were different. Every state was different. They had their own subculture. But what binded all of Americans together? It was their love for their nation, of course, but it was Christianity. So we have to be real about that. And we have to be honest about that. And it's okay to be honest about it. It doesn't make you a Christian fascist. It just makes you someone who observes the founding of this country. You're not a fascist. You're not a fascist for acknowledging that this was a big part of American history. And it is not fascistic. It is not evil to think that America was never built on this idea of broad pluralism and broad religious tolerance for all belief systems. No, of course not. No. You think if Islam or Hinduism or the Satanic Temple tried to start 200 years ago in America, you think they would have gone anywhere? No. They would have been kicked out of the country in the snap of a finger. Reject the lies. Guys, we have all been lied to our whole lives. We have. We've been lied to our whole lives by our government, by the military-industrial complex, by the media, and even our education, okay? Even in our schools. We've been lied to for so long. Why? Because liberals did do the slow march through the institutions. And they took over everything. They lied to you. They lied to me. But all this information is regularly available information that in America, we still broadly speaking, have free speech where we can seek out this information and share this information. America was founded as a Christian country for its own people and its posterity. That's the bottom line. And these liberties are for those people per the Constitution and Declaration.